There's a growing number of Alzheimer's and dementia patients and caregivers in California, and that can put a lot of stress on families.
While it can be difficult to ask for help, there is a reprieve for the caretakers at no cost. As we recognize Mental Health Awareness Month, CBS 8's Abby Black shares services that care for the caregiver.
Caregivers are often consumed with taking care of their loved one who's living with an illness such as Alzheimer's. But those caregivers often forget that they need to take care of themselves so they can take care of others. As a caretaker, Barbara Christensen has held many hands.
It was just a position that you had your whole life, essentially.
As a retired teacher, she held the hands of students. As a mother, it was for her children. As a wife, she held the hands of her first husband, who died from pancreatic cancer. But one of the hardest hands to hold was Dan. Her second husband died in his late 70s with Alzheimer's.
You just reach a point where you physically can't do it, and you say, whoa, I need somebody here for a period of time to get my mind back.
Dave Zitla was married to his wife Donna for 40+ years. He held her hand for 6 years while she battled early onset Alzheimer's.
The first couple of years, hey, I've got this. I can do this. It's not a big deal. But then as they age and their disease progresses, you're going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now?
These breaking points are felt by so many family members, spouses, even friends when taking on the role of a caretaker.
Well, the number that we have in San Diego County of caregivers is about 460,000 family caregivers that we know of.
That's a low estimate. The County Aging and Independent Services says some people don't even consider themselves a caregiver.
It can be as young as a college-age student to a spouse in their 80s.
And the number of memory loss patients and caregivers is growing. In its 2023 report, the Alzheimer's Association says there are 1.4 million Alzheimer's and dementia family caregivers in California who are providing an estimated 1.9 billion hours of unpaid care, valued at $44 billion. They caution this is putting mental health at risk. Seniorly, an advocate for the aging community reports 58% of family caregivers report extreme stress, 47% less sleep, and 43% feel isolated.
Help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. And we want you to be empowered to fend for yourself, but also look out for yourself.
Martha Rarnon is the Executive Vice President of the Southern Caregivers Resource Center. She knows firsthand the services needed for caretakers.
And I thought I could do it all. I thought I could go online, pick up a brochure, and realize that mentally, emotionally, I needed help.
She leaned on the nonprofit while caregiving for her aunt with dementia.
So I actually became a client of Southern Caregiver Research Center and utilized their services.
A qualified and vetted in-home care volunteer can help for a few hours, all day, or while on vacation. Barbara says that she didn't feel the guilt like so many do. She felt relieved.
I kind of felt like respite care allowed me to give somebody else my burden for a few hours and go do something that was for me. It might have been grocery shopping or, swimming or whatever.
These free services are essential. Not only can an illness cause physical and emotional stress, but there's also a financial burden. Some in-home care costs at least $30 an hour. The county also works with Coast Care partners to offer respite services. And for the cost-sharing programs, the county says it pays for half.
It's essential that caregivers take a break to care for themselves and to care for their own health and well-being, and more importantly, mental health.
That care for a caretaker can come in all forms, and it's just as important after a loved one dies.
It's still hard. It's been 4 years. Anyways, thank God for Barbara.
Barbara still holds on to the love of her late husband's, all while lovingly holding Dave's hand since they met in an Alzheimer's support group 4 years ago.
I tried to think of his love still being with me, and it was. So now I have Dave's love.
I'm Abby Black, CBS 8.
That is so sweet that they have each other now, because I don't know how many people understand the stresses and the demands unless you've been through that situation. So that union's beautiful, and I know you when my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, your father had it, and you kept nudging me to get help, and for so long, I was like, I'm good, we're good. And then finally, I was like, okay, I'm not good. And then I reached out to Alzheimer's San Diego. We've hired caregivers as well. We have 3 different caregiving options, and it's not cheap.
You know, it came from the experience of watching my mom go through it with my dad, because my mom was one of these people who would not ask for help. She would have died, basically, caring for him. Her health was deteriorating. His health was deteriorating. It's important to reach out before it gets anywhere near that point. A lot of people don't think there's help, and there are many options. It can be challenging to navigate these systems, but there are resources out there.
It's really difficult, and you feel a little bit weak, you know, when you have to reach out, but there's so much strength in it, because I can tell myself, you know, I deal with a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, dealing with all that at home from the moment I wake up until 3 p.m. when I come to work. And then honestly, it's like a little break when I come into work, but we're grateful to have the support. And I did reach out to the county because of Abby's story. We talked about this last week, and there are programs that offer you a 50% discount on the caregiving cost, which can be $35 an hour, so then you're only paying $17 something an hour. So, but there are a lot of wait lists and, you know, a lot of things to navigate online, so just it's challenging to navigate the system, but we've kind of made it easier for you.
Yeah, we've put resources to help caregivers at cbs8.com. Under the help button, you can click there. One of those is Alzheimer's San Diego, an organization I'm deeply involved with. They have great social workers. They have great volunteers to help point you on your way to a lot of resources.
Yeah, thanks so much, Abby, for sharing that plight that so many of us find ourselves in. Appreciate it.